Hi guys, in today's video we're talking about the general overview of the airdrop markets. Interest for airdrops is especially after Hyperliquid again at an all-time high, and if you're just getting started, this video will help you get started the right way, and if you're a seasoned DeFi enthusiast, it will still help you get some framework, perspective, and set realistic expectations for what's coming, because we're also going to talk a little bit about the other side of crypto. We're not just making a whole lot of money in a short amount of time, but also about some fails along the way. Let's get started. And before everything, before we talk about framework, strategies, anything else, there is one super straightforward, simple way to make money with airdrops without doing any extra work. Guys, if you are trading on Binance, Bybit, BitGet, any other centralized exchange, you need to have a very good reason not to switch to a decentralized alternative, because it is so damn simple and you're qualifying for some incredible rewards along the way. All you have to do is create a Web3 wallet. For example, Rabbi is my personal favorite. They also have an ongoing points program, and we might expect an airdrop from them also in 2025. And the next thing you need to do is simply connect to the official account. You always follow the official links from the official Twitter accounts of the projects you're participating in. After you have made an account, you connect it with your decentralized wallet, you make a deposit, and you start trading. It is that simple. I know people who have made 5, even low 6 figures for simply moving their trading activities from centralized exchanges to a decentralized alternative. If you still haven't done so, I highly recommend you do so. Especially in Hyperliquid's case, there's going to be 39% reserved for future airdrops, so you really have no excuse. You need to have a really good reason to stay on centralized exchanges in this case. Okay, but trading is risky, it sometimes includes leverage, and it is not for everyone. So let's say that you don't want to trade, but you want to airdrop farm. The most important thing, other than of course following official accounts and clicking on the right links to be guaranteed that you don't get scammed, the other thing that you have to really focus on is to understand multi-walleting. Guys, I learned this the hard way with Aptos, but apply these rules to Arbitrum. If you just do one activity on one wallet, you're maybe going to get $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on a good airdrop, right? But if you do this same activity smartly, right, do not connect the wallets, do not do anything silly, then you're going to multiply your airdrop farming and results dramatically. We have created, of course, the how to farm airdrops the right way using multiple wallets. This has been one of the most viewed videos on our channel, and for damn good reason. This is something you have to understand, and of course, ideally, you also want to discuss these things with other people who already know this, but again, you can do so in the comments or in our Discord, but this video is something you have to understand and go through if you're planning to do a lot of volume, a lot of wallets. You have to know how to do them the right way. Now, you have your wallets ready, you know how to multi-wallet properly. Now comes research. Guys, in life, nothing comes free. You either pay with your time or with money. And quite frankly, at this time of the bull market, you simply don't have the luxury of time that we had over the last 2 years. Well, there are some absolute gigachads, legends out there, such as CC2, Cove. You're already watching this video, so you're already on the right track. There is no better investment than your education and yourself. I've been doing this for a long time, and I understand the value of private communities. Personally, I'm part of several paying communities, both on Discord and on Telegram. And guys, those have been the absolute best investments in crypto journey that I've ever made. Of course, you don't have to believe me, but it's just facts. If you want to be part of our private community, you can find the links to this, how to join, and also how to understand the airdrop tracking application, which can help you along the journey. But all the links about everything we always talk about are in the first link of the description of the video. So let's say that you're just getting started with airdrops and you're wondering what you can expect, how much money you can make in this space. Of course, there's never guarantees, and everybody will make their own strategy based on their own conviction after doing their own research. But if you are having perhaps a full-time job or some kind of other obligations that you cannot be full-time in crypto, then you will have to maybe focus on just 3 to 5 projects instead of doing 15 to 20 like most of us are doing. And of course, the strategy always comes with common sense of doing multiple wallet strategy, because making a couple $1,000s on a wallet is great, but doing so on 50, 60, or maybe just 10 wallets, it's already much better. So when it comes to strategy, you have to decide how much capital and how much time do you have to dedicate to airdrops. For me personally, I've been doing airdrops and have been full-time in crypto for over 2 years now. So for me, it is very easy to be fully committed and do 15 to 20 quality projects across almost 100 wallets total, but you will have to make your own strategy based on your research that you do. Now, Santiago has made a very, very good list of airdrops that you can start with in December. Well, actually, most of them are actually finishing in December, but you can still dedicate a little bit of your time and capital to them. Personally, I really believe that Sonic is going to be incredible because it is Phantom Chain and they have $200 million reserved for future airdrop incentives. If Phantom goes to maybe previous all-time highs or even breaks, maybe goes to $5, then we will maybe be looking at $1 billion from just Sonic airdrop. Of course, again, the easiest way to make it in airdrops is to associate yourself with successful people who are also networking and understanding this arena very, very well. We have one such community in our Discord where we discuss all these things in much detail, but it is super important not to do airdrops on your own because, of course, if you have the ability to simply share information with people who are already very successful with airdrops, you will have a much, much, much higher chance to actually succeed yourself as well. So finally, how does this look in numbers? Well, if you're doing 15 to 20 quality projects, you can expect between 1 to 3 of them in a year to do some absolutely incredible results like what we had with Hyperliquid. Between 5 to 10 of them is going to give you maybe low 5 figures, maybe a couple $1,000s per wallet, and there's going to be all the other ones, like 10 plus, are going to be an absolute disaster where you get maybe like a couple dollars or less than $100 per wallet. So yes, sometimes you just ask yourself, why am I even doing airdrops when the reward is so little? And in the first couple of months that you're not actually receiving any real cash out, which usually doesn't happen in the first half a year. But once it actually happens, you're going to understand that all of this time invested, all of this energy, it was all super worth it. So that is the general blueprint. If you're doing airdrops for 3, 6, 9 months, then you can expect to see some incredible results if you're doing the right things, obviously, with many wallets. That is the strategy that has proven to be the best in the last 2 years. If you're doing between 5 to 10 wallets, that's already a good start, but you will need to make your own strategy, and I will not go again into this. We always talk about this in our Discord. And finally, there is 3 types of categories of airdrops. You have something called liquidity-based airdrops. For example, this was EigenLayer, ZkSync, and others. In this case, you would just deposit some capital, and after a year or maybe even less in some cases, you would get some amount of returns. Of course, this is very similar to DeFi yield farming because it is not such a great risk to reward because your capital could be much, much more better used in something that we call button pressing airdrops. This was, for example, Hyperliquid or Arbitrum. And in these cases, you would have monthly activity. And for this monthly activity, you would get disproportionate amount of returns. For example, for Arbitrum, you would spend maybe $100 to $200 in fees, and you could easily make 5 figures. For Hyperliquid, you would also spend minimal amount of fees, but you could make 4, 5, or even 6 figures. So if you have time to dedicate to airdrops, I would highly, highly recommend you focus on this button pressing airdrops. These where you need to be actively managing your wallets across a consistent period of time. And finally, you also have testnets. Just know, okay, I'm being a little too harsh, but just objectively, over the last 2-3 years, there's been very, very few testnet airdrops that have really performed, such as, for example, Aptos. That yes, if you really don't have money in crypto and you don't want to risk real money, then sure, you can do testnets. But just from a risk to reward ratio, it is maybe even better to just make money in real life and actively do proper airdrops than just, spending time and getting discouraged on testnets. That is just statistics and numbers over the last 2-3 years. And finally, let's look at the other side of the medal when airdrops don't work and when there's actually a lot of time wasted. This is the crucial part, guys. You are wasting time. You're not risking your capital, you're only risking time, and you're learning a lot along the way. This is why I've been saying for years that airdrops are the best way for new crypto people to get exposure to this incredible, incredible world of crypto, but that's a topic for another time. Let's take a look at what happens when public sentiment regarding something is bad and how that can actually be very, very beneficial. Perfect example is Hyperliquid Season 2. When they announced Season 2 in May, I was like, no, not a milking season again, and started slowly fading Hyperliquid. It was a mistake, of course, looking back, because sometimes public sentiment being bad is actually a very, very good thing. So a very similar thing is happening with Bungie right now. It is another bridge solution that you can use alongside Jumper, along Hyperlane, along many others. But public sentiment for Bungie, after they're saying, if you aren't swapping into every coin on every chain, you will be left behind. This maybe implies an airdrop, but they've been implying this for 2 years. Drop a token already, please. No, in all seriousness, public sentiment is bad. There's probably not a lot of people farming it. This is your edge. You always want to find an edge in airdrops, and public sentiment being bad is sometimes justifiable, like it was maybe in the case of starknet, but in some cases they can really, really surprise you for the upside, like was the case with Hyperliquid. Finally, the space of airdrop hunting has really evolved and changed over the last 2 years. What used to be incredibly simple, straightforward, easy operations such as 2 months of activities and 4 smart contract transactions such as Arbitrum, people have realized that there's a lot of money to be made in airdrops, and projects have become increasingly strict. There have been some absolutely absurd criteria, like for example in starknet's case, you had to have 0.005 ETH minimum in wallet in order to qualify. There have been people with thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in liquidity who did not qualify because of this absurd criteria. But guys, projects are really trying to identify Sybils, airdrop farms, and if you want to be a real DeFi user, just make sure to always ask yourself, would a real DeFi user send a $2 or 2-cent transaction if the transaction cost is like $1 or $2? Of course not. Just use logic, use common sense, talk with people, learn, and get started on this incredible journey. When it comes to starknet itself, if you're still bullish on the network, they're actually integrated with staking, so you can either become a validator or become a delegator. Everything is, of course, in Bravos and Argent wallets. So to wrap up, airdrops are by far the best way to grow smaller accounts into some meaningful numbers. And if you're being careful along the way, if you don't fall for any scams, there's virtually no downside to being a DeFi user to grow your on-chain footprint. And even in some cases, when you do everything right, when you do your research, you see a project has more than $100 million in funding, and there's not a lot of people talking about it, you think it's going to be the next big thing. Sometimes it just doesn't work. In the example of Aztec, we were really bullish about this in 2022, but project just simply slowly died down. Maybe they're making a comeback. Maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to sign up for their testnet again. But again, this is why you simply go back to the formula of making 15-20 quality projects. Some of them are just going to print life-changing money, and some of them are just going to be failures. And that's just how it is in life. The most important thing for you to understand, airdrops can really, really snowball an amazing crypto journey because, for example, you farm Arbitrum, you get Celestia. You farm Polygon ZKVM, you get a Veil. So there's really no downside to being an on-chain citizen, and it can really help you become financially free through crypto, which is my heartfelt wish for everyone watching. So this was a little bit different kind of video, but in this crazy airdrop madness that we found ourselves in, much, much needed. If you feel like sharing your airdrop journey, your lessons, your fails, your successes, feel free to do so in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions, I'm waiting for you in the comments. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe with bell notifications on. Our content is oftentimes very time sensitive, and if you want to make it in crypto, if you want to make a lot of money with airdrops, we're waiting for you in our Discord. Thanks for watching. Till next time, have an amazing day.